Your field here on the Big Ten Network. Mike Fulton and Connor Hoke here alongside you. It's the last week of the regular season here for Purdue baseball. Today they have a very competitive Oral Roberts team visiting West Lafayette. The Boilers had their nation-leading 13-game win streak snapped over the weekend, losing 2 of 3 to Ohio State. But they still have a chance to finish strong and make a late push for the NCAA tournament, Connor.
Yeah, like you talked about, the Boilermakers dropping 2 of 3 on the road last weekend in Columbus, including a heartbreaker 4-2 loss on Friday. But they have a chance to redeem themselves or bounce back today against what is a very good Oral Roberts team, and then have a chance to take on Michigan to finish out the regular season. But Michigan, also a team, just barely avoided getting swept on the road by Illinois last weekend as well. So a big week for the Boilermakers, but before you look at the Wolverines, you have to take a look at Oral Roberts. And we talked about Purdue, 13-game winning streak coming into it. Oral Roberts is hot as they come, too. Winners of 12 of their last 13, and looking to try and put a Big Ten team on the resume as they head towards postseason play.
Oral Roberts enters today with a 33-16 record. Purdue at 30-18. You mentioned Oral Roberts winning 12 of their last 13. They had a 9-game win streak snapped last Tuesday with a loss to a very good Wichita State team. So a very competitive Golden Eagle squad that comes here to visit Alexander Field. And this is one that Purdue cannot afford to drop, even if they would go on to win that series against Michigan or even perhaps sweep. They need to take care of business here today in non-conference play.
And for the Boilermakers, as you do take a look at the Golden Eagles batting order, Nick Rotola will lead off for us. Carl Hernandez and Nick Rourke in the 2-3 hole. But Andrew Baum, the man on the mound today for the Boilermakers. Baum, 2-0 on the season with a 4.91 ERA, was very impressive in his last outing against Indiana State. Looking to try and bring the heat early for the Boilermakers.
First pitch to Rotola, grounder to Shipley, bobbled, but Shipley makes the play. Good recovery there by the senior Harry Shipley. He knocked it down and threw out Rotola on the first pitch of the evening.
And for the Boilermakers, behind Baum, you've got Jackson McGowan at first, Tyler Powers at second, Harry Shipley at short just made that play, Evan Warden in third, Ben Nissel in left, Skylar Hunter in center, and then in right, Alec Olin behind the plate, Nick D'Alessandro. Both Shipley and Alec Olin being honored before the game as seniors.
Cal Hernandez to the plate now for Oral Roberts. It's 1-1 from Andrew Baum. This is Baum's third start here of the year. He started against Chicago State back in late April, went 5 strong innings. Didn't allow a single run. Ahead 1-2 now to Hernandez. Then, like you mentioned, Baum, about a week or so ago against Fort Wayne, went 5 2/3, gave up only 2 hits, 3 runs, none of which were earned. Hernandez, liner and a snag from Warden at third base.
Great extension by Warden at third, able to get that hand up there and flash the leather. 2 nice plays made in the infield on back-to-back solid hits from the Golden Eagles.
That one hot off the bat of Hernandez, but Warden was equal to the challenge. Now it brings up the second baseman for Oral Roberts, Nick Rourke. Hitting .317 on the year, 25 RBIs. Andrew Baum pounding the zone early. Redshirt freshman from Fishers, Indiana, on the northeast side of Indy.
Top of this lineup for Oral Roberts, doing really well this season. Everybody batting over 300 on the year, which would explain why you've got a team coming in here as hot as Oral Roberts has been.
Fly ball tailing into shallow left field. Ben Nissel is there for out number 3. A quick inning to start things off for Andrew Baum and Purdue. 3 contacts from the Golden Eagles, but the defense of the Boilermakers stands tall in the top of the first. We'll bring you the home half of the first inning when we come back here on BTN. Taylor Varnell, a lefty, on the mound to start out for Oral Roberts. Varnell is senior, 6'1", 195, out of Sayre, Oklahoma. Played a year at Western Oklahoma State Junior College before joining the Golden Eagles staff. As there you see his numbers so far with Oral Roberts as we enter the bottom of the first here on BTN.
Varnell's a high strikeout guy, has 55 strikeouts and 50 innings pitched. So the Boilermakers have to be disciplined at the plate, make sure that you're seeing the ball correctly out of Varnell's hand. Otherwise, it could be a long day at the plate for Purdue.
Well, Shipley has a 2-0 count here to start things out. Shipley on the year hitting .278 with Purdue and has been the lead man for essentially the entire season. And it looked like Shipley got clipped there. Maybe just got him right on the hip. He'll take his place at first base.
15th hit by pitch for Harry Shipley this season. That leads the team. Shipley, of course, Boilermaker fans know, famously crowds that plate, really inviting the contact.
He held the record for career hit by pitches entering this year. So that was before the 15 he's tallied so far.
Yeah, last year was one of the best in the country.
Now it's D'Alessandro to the plate. The hard-hitting catcher for Purdue that's been hot, especially over that 13-game win streak for the Boilers. Was a big part of that, as well as maybe Alec Oland. As you could point to those two bats as being the lumber in the lineup that got the job done when they needed it the most throughout that stretch.
Yeah, both those guys, upperclassmen that have really taken off in year two under Coach Mark Wazakowski and his staff.
Now D'Alessandro's going to have to battle 0-2. Line drive, nice play with the glove. Rourke at second base, and it's 2 for 1.
A beautiful grab by Nick Rourke, like you said. Able to scoop it up with ease in the grab to turn the double play.
Rourke looked very relaxed out there at second base on a hard hit one-hopper from D'Alessandro. 2 away now for Skylar Hunter.
Hunter comes in batting .328 on the season.
Hunter productive last week in that Ohio State series and in that Fort Wayne game, and then in the Ball State midweek tilt as well. Had 12 RBIs last week. Takes a strike there now. He's down 0-2.
And Purdue really needs Skylar Hunter to continue to swing the bat with confidence as they head down the home stretch this week and into Big Ten play. We talked about Nick D'Alessandro, Alec Oland, another guy who's really picked up his production offensively at the bottom of the order for the Boilermakers. But Skylar Hunter's a guy that can be a difference maker for Purdue. Hit his first career home run a couple weekends ago against Northwestern. Not really a deep ball threat, but if he can hit into gaps and create solid contact, that'll go a long way towards helping Purdue.
Straightaway center, Ratola able to make the catch after a couple pirouettes. There's 3 away. Boilers are retired, 1-2-3 here in the third after Harry Shipley reached and D'Alessandro grounded into a double play. 0-0 when we come back for the top of 2 here on BTN. Andrew Baum back on the mound for Purdue here in the top of the second inning at Alexander Field. Spencer Henson up to the plate for Oral Roberts. 4-hitter for the Golden Eagles, hitting a whopping 370 on the year so far. A lot of power in that righty box.
61 hits, 6 doubles, 8 home runs, 45 RBIs to go along with it. Mike, that's not too bad.
He's a big kid, 6'2", 240 out of Pryor, Oklahoma. He's got 1-1 from Andrew Baum.
Looks more like a fullback than he does a first baseman.
Put a helmet and shoulder pads on him.
So a 2-1 count for Baum.
Liner over the head of Shipley. First hit of the day for Oral Roberts. Spencer Henson into left to bring up Andrew Pace, the left fielder.
And you see the power there. Great swing from Henson, able just to turn around on it and get it over the head of Harry Shipley.
So a man on and nobody out. Andrew Baum out of the stretch for the first time here today.
And if you are the Boilermakers, have to be a little bit worried that through the first 4 batters, good contact being made by Oral Roberts. The first 3 in that inning, they weren't able to put the ball in play, but another strong swing from Henson. And so far, it feels like Oral Roberts is seeing the ball really well over the plate.
Well, and also Baum is a fastball pitcher and likes to attack downhill with that heater. And if the team he's facing is used to that speed or capable of hitting it, it could be a long day for the Purdue starter. This is easily the biggest game that Baum has pitched in, or maybe it'll be his biggest role, you could say. He has pitched in some conference action so far this season.
And 8 of the 9 batters in the lineup for Oral Roberts have 5 or more doubles on the year. A handful of guys have triples as well. So this is a team that's got a lot of power, a lot of pop in the bat. Like you said, if they can figure out that, if they're able to hit that fastball, they should have a good day today at the plate.
1-2 to Pace just outside. And you'd have to think that Andrew Baum is going to need to be effective with that slider and curveball.
Well, and against Fort Wayne, we saw a heavy dose of that slider and curve, especially as the game wore on, and that's something that Baum has talked about at length, really trying to add to his repertoire.
Right. We've seen it more and more. I think we saw a lot of fastballs against Chicago State back in late April, and then here a week or so ago against Fort Wayne, Baum mixed in more off speed.
Well, and I think that's what the coaching staff really likes about Andrew Baum. He's a young guy, as this one's going to be lifted into left, caught by Nissel. So Henson will trot back to first, 1 away. But I think that's what Coach Wazakowski and the staff really like about Andrew Baum is he's got a great fastball, and if they can help work with him to add a couple more off-speed pitches, really give him a wide variety to work with.
He's got the velocity.
Yeah, that's something you can't teach, but you're able to kind of work with some of the off-speed stuff and help him.
And that's what this coaching staff knew coming out of high school. He was a big velo guy. And now it's just a matter of honing his craft and working on that second and third pitch. Now Riley Kaiser, the DH. Kaiser, one of those guys with some pop. 8 doubles on the year, 33 ribbies. Hitting a couple ticks below 300.
Yeah, you always love when in your 6th spot you can get 33 RBIs out of there. That's always showing you've got great production offensively, 1 through 9.
Looked like the slider there just missed outside. So 2-1 to Kaiser. Ryan Beard, the usual weekday starter for Purdue, but he pitched in that Ohio State series. Thus forcing Baum into action here today.
Yeah, and with Purdue on short rest with this Michigan series coming up on Thursday as opposed to usually the normal starting day being Friday, we're trying to give Beard a little bit more of rest as Purdue will have a chance to make a move in the Big Ten standings this weekend.
Strikeout number 1 for Andrew Baum. He fans Riley Kaiser. So after a leadoff single from Spencer Henson, Baum has worked through the 5 and 6 of the Oral Roberts lineup. 2 outs and a man on first for Trevor McCutcheon, the right fielder.
And there was the off speed. Take a second look at it. You can see their great drop on the ball, great movement, and that's what's going to make Andrew Baum a special pitcher here at Purdue if he can be consistent with those pitches.
12-6 fell right off the table. Baum in that start against Fort Wayne had 9 strikeouts through 5 2/3. He's got 1 so far. 2-0 for Trevor McCutcheon. McCutcheon, a utility man out of Owasso, Oklahoma. He has a 3-0 count, playing right field here today. Oral Roberts, a school based in Tulsa, making the trip. And then next series, have the Mastodons of Fort Wayne. So West Lafayette, just a quick layover, if you will.
Yeah, Oral Roberts has really run roughshod over the Summit League this season,
including a sweep this past weekend against Omaha.
Yeah, 22-5 in conference this year. By far the best team in the Summit League. A tough midweek game for the Boilermakers.
Oral Roberts, no slouch. And they have historically been good as well. They've dominated the Summit League over the past couple decades. They've clinched the Summit League title, regular season title, this year already. That's 18 years in a row now. The 3-2 swung on and missed as Baum cleans up here in the top of the second inning. Strikes out McCutcheon. Gave up a single, but nothing more. 0-0 when we come back for the bottom of 2. Jackson McGowan to lead off the bottom of the second inning here at Alexander Field, where earlier we had some graduation ceremonies for the 7 seniors of the Purdue baseball team as Purdue President Mitch Daniels handed out some diplomas.
Yeah, this past weekend was graduation weekend for Purdue, and those 7 seniors obviously were in Columbus for the Ohio State series, didn't have a chance to walk. Pretty cool to see them get the chance to do so, though, today.
Tanner Andrews, Evan Kennedy, Mike Cornicker, Ross Leonard, Alec Oland, Harry Shipley, and Cameron Williams. All-handed diplomas by President Daniels here at Alexander. McGowan 0-2. As there you see the seniors in their robes.
Jackson McGowan coming into today's game, batting .299. He's got 48 RBIs with 49 hits. And is a guy who has gained a lot of notoriety in against the Big Ten. Teams are just typically pitching around him when they have the chance.
Big 2-2 looper there from Varnell, and McGowan fouls it off. This is one of the first times this season for McGowan that his batting average has dipped below 300. Still productive and still has incredible numbers. Leads the team in home runs with 11, on base percentage and just below 450, and then slugging percentage as well.
Well, when you have 42 walks on the year, your opportunities start to get slimmer and slimmer. How many chances you're going to, instead of maybe 4 at-bats in a game, you're going to get 2.
He's got a 3-2 count now against Varnell. Payoff pitch from the lefty. Fly ball back to center field. Rottola is there at the track for out number 1.
Rottola had a little bit better experience trying to track that one down. Not as much spinning. Able to get on his horse and come away with that one. Another long fly ball into center by the Boilermakers, though.
That's back-to-back outs now that have been way back out towards the 408 in center that Rottola has had a little bit of trouble tracking down. We saw him do what looked like a 360 spin on the Skylar Hunter fly ball out there. Center field turn, but he made the catch. Ben Nissel up now. Freshman takes a strike.
No wind out there really to contend with for Rottola.
Bad swing and miss from Nissel there. He's down 0-2. Overcast evening here in West Lafayette. No wind, maybe a bit muggy. It did rain earlier today pretty hard, but the grounds crew here at Alexander did a fantastic job getting the field ready.
That went inside at the knees of Nissel. Nissel's been a guy who really has come on for the Boilermakers this season. You see 6 home runs, 37 RBIs. A freshman. Just a nice job in left field for the Boilermakers as well.
And we've talked about it on previous broadcasts, but Nissel's emergence in left field and Alec Oland in right has allowed Nick D'Alessandro to retreat behind the plate and really focus on that starting job as a full-time catcher. 2-2 fended off by Nissel.
And really 2 freshmen in particular, since this winning streak started, have stood out for Purdue. Nissel, obviously what he's been able to do in left, but also Tyler Powers at second base has really done a nice job of really solidifying this lineup for the Boilermakers.
3-2.
As that one got away from Gibson.
First 2 batters here of the second, Varnell has had down 2 strikes. And both McGowan and Nissel have worked full count, so a good job of the middle of this Purdue lineup. Nissel is going to force Varnell to throw another pitch. (3-2) from Varnell. A floater into right field, drops for a base hit. Ben Nissel aboard with 1 away here in the second.
Good piece of hitting by Ben Nissel. Able to work the full count.
How about that at bat?
And just gets the little soft dying quail over the first baseman's head.
Little opposite field slice for Ben Nissel to bring up the DH Nick Everts.
Everts getting the nod at DH more and more towards the end of the season as the Boilermakers have really started to embrace small ball and being aggressive with their base running. Evan Kennedy, who is the other Boilermaker who doesn't spend a ton of time at DH.
Shot back to left off the back of Everts. Off the wall, Nissel to third. He'll hold up there. It's a double into left center for Nick Everts.
Well, and Mike, as soon as I talk about Nick Everts out there in the DH spot for his speed, little pop off the bat from Everts, putting it off the center field wall.
That's his 5th double of the year. Well hit ball to the power alley. It puts runners on second and third for one of Purdue's hottest hitters in Alec Oland. So the Boilers with a chance to strike first here in the bottom of the second inning.
Oland with a .357 batting average this year has really been on a tear since the start of Big Ten play.
He's got a 1-0 count. He played well throughout the series against Ohio State. He was 4 for 4 against the Buckeyes on Friday, and then got suspended in the 9th inning of that game, had to sit out Saturday.
Yeah, had a helmet spike off of what was a bang call, didn't agree with. Actually went on Twitter and apologized to the coaching staff and to the fans of Purdue, saying that his emotions had gotten the better of him. But a chance to drive in a couple early runs in the bottom of the second with one away and runners on second and third.
Varnell trying to work out of a jam. Misses with the off speed. He's dropped that curveball right in front of his catcher, Brody Gibson, a couple times now. If Gibson lets one go by, it could be 1-0 Purdue. Oland has been a huge bat for the Boilers over the past few weeks when they've gone on that winning streak. It was Oland in the 7th spot of the lineup that really kind of brought this batting order to that next level.
Yeah, we talked about in the top of that last inning when you've got a guy like Riley Kaiser who's batting almost 300 and had the stats that he had in your 6th spot. But when you've got a guy like Alec Oland who currently has the best batting average on the team at .357 in the 7 hole, really working as that second leadoff man for the Boilermakers.
High flyer, very shallow center. Harrison Smith gives way to Nick Rottola, who makes the catch. No threat of attack from Nissel at third base. So Oland unable to bring in a run. It's a harmless out, number 2.
Nice job by Varnell, able to get Oland to put too much under the bat, or under the ball rather, and lift it into shallow left center, keeping everybody at their spots. But now Evan Warden will have a chance to add a couple RBIs, as you see 254 on the season, a home run, and 20 ribbies coming into today's game.
So it looked like could be some momentum for Purdue here in the second. Could be a momentum swing for Oral Roberts if Varnell can work out of it with Warden at the plate.
A little bit of a threat to throw to third by Varnell, trying to keep Nissel close to the bag.
See Nissel playing with Varnell, jumping off the bag. That's something that these Boilermaker runners have grown accustomed to doing here over the course of the season.
Yeah, Purdue has really, like we talked about, embraced small ball, trying to take aggressive leads.
Even just trying to get inside the head of the pitcher. Varnell, a lefty, has his back to Nissel at third. Warden into right field. 1-0 Purdue. Everts coming in to score. 2-0. RBI single for Evan Warden. Starts things off for Purdue on the right foot here in the bottom of the second inning.
Second time in this game that we've seen the Boilermakers go opposite into that right field, this time with runners in scoring position. Great job by Evan Warden, able to bring two across.
So 2-0 Purdue, and Tyler Powers to the plate.
Let's take a second look at it. Good velocity on it.
No chance of a play at Everts at the plate. There, Warden takes off for second base on the pitch in time. Stolen base there for Evan Warden.
That's base number 9 on the season.
So again, a runner in scoring position. There's that small ball you talked about. 2 outs and your 9-hole up. Try and get a man into scoring position.
Tyler Powers has been a guy who had struggled really all year at the plate, but over the last couple weeks has started to figure things out. Really speaks to the development of the freshman. Really starting to see the ball a lot better night in, night out as he pretty much wraps up his freshman campaign.
He's got a lot more playing time thanks to his skills at second base. Now has a 2-1 count. A local product played here at Lafayette Central Catholic High School. About 20 minutes away.
Central Catholic has been very good to Purdue athletics. Of course, home of the Anthrop family.
And also Evan Kennedy, I believe, was the other. Yep. Evan Kennedy, a senior, so a bit distant from Powers, but same school. Couple local products here on this Purdue team. You also have Nissel, who scored earlier from Schererville. A little bit up north. As there you see the gamesmanship of Warden at second base, forcing Varnell to step away from his rhythm.
And when we talk about the gamesmanship for Purdue, a lot of times we talk about Nick D'Alessandro, but Evan Warden is a guy who really relishes the opportunity to try and mess with a pitcher.
Powers took a big hack at that 3-1 pitch and now has a full count. A lot of full counts here in this second inning. One of them came in to score, Ben Nissel, after he was down 0-2. Strikeout to end the second, but Purdue puts up 2 runs thanks to an RBI single from Evan Warden. Brought in Ben Nissel and then Nick Everts. 2-0 Purdue here on BTN. Two nothing. Purdue jumps up top as we enter the top of the third. Andrew Baum to start another frame for Purdue. Earlier today, we had some graduation ceremonies for 7 of Purdue's seniors. There you see Harry Shipley getting a little bit caught up in the tassel, but got the diploma nonetheless. It was President Mitch Daniels, Purdue president, who handed out the diplomas to the Boilermakers as they could not make the normally scheduled graduation times due to that Ohio State series.
You could see President Daniels in the left-hand side of your screen, taking in the game.
Got himself a good seat. And that's a good start for his Purdue Boilermakers. Brody Gibson, the catcher for Oral Roberts, now up to the plate. Looking like Baum fit that off speed right across the middle, but it's 1-1. Craig McCarty, the home plate umpire, said it's a bit low. That one finds the zone, though. 1-2, and it's exciting to see the development of Andrew Baum as he started to pitch a little bit more inside out, especially to these dangerous lineups such as Oral Roberts. Another strikeout. D'Alessandro to first. There's one away. 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Andrew Baum. He finished off the second by retiring Kaiser and McCutcheon and starts out the third by putting away Brody Gibson.
And you and I talked about a little bit after the first inning. It was a little worrisome if you're a Purdue fan that Oral Roberts was able to make solid contact at those first 3 at-bats. But Andrew Baum's done a nice job of settling down in that second inning, like you said, starting to work that inside out, get the off-speed going, and it's really starting to take its effect on Oral Roberts.
I think Andrew Baum might have heard you, might have took offense a little bit there. So I'll do it myself. And he has for the last 3 Golden Eagles that he's seen. Here's a shortstop, Harrison Smith. So he takes a 1-1 count.
Smith, the senior, batting .265 on the year. Only his 20th started game and played on the season.
Baum painting corners. Up ahead on Smith. Andrew Baum, the redshirt freshman, looking for 4 in a row. Not so this time. Fly ball out to Skylar Hunter in center field. 2 away.
Well, he'll certainly take an out any way that he can get it. Another long fly ball into the outfield for the Boilermakers to pick up.
We've already had 4 flyouts in this game here, with 2 outs now in the third. If you count the line drive that Cal Hernandez ripped to Evan Warden. So now it's Nick Rotola for his second at-bat of the evening. Rotola burned one to Harry Shipley at short his first time up that Shipley bobbled but then made the play on. This one into left. A base knock for the center fielder for Oral Roberts. A man on with 2 outs.
And this is an Oral Roberts team that even with 2 outs, still dangerous. We've talked about it. Their offense, very, very good. They're a 33-win ball club for a reason. This is the team 1 through 9 that can be explosive, and as they head to the top of the order here.
This is a very talented top of the order. You mentioned it earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, all well above 300 in the batting average column. Here's Cal Hernandez. Hernandez, 25 RBIs on the year.
Baum's going to fire one over to first. Rotola does have a little bit of speed. 9 stolen bases on the year. Not an Oral Roberts team that tries to do a ton with stolen bases.
They don't like to go that much. But if they do, it'll typically be the man on first, Nick Rotola. He is the most successful of the Golden Eagles. Nobody else has attempted more than 10.
Well, for the Boilermakers, they have 4 guys in the lineup that have attempted 10 or more.
Well, there's that small ball mentality you have a little bit. We're going to steal more. We're going to move runners over more.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot more power for Oral Roberts. Doubles, triples, home runs. And Purdue just doesn't have the same pop through the lineup.
Well, if you look at Purdue, too, they have some of the fewest home runs in the Big Ten. They're 4th to last with 23 for the season as a team.
Well, and good coaches figure out what their squad is good at, and then they really try to emphasize that in order to win. And for Purdue, they're not a power-hitting team. It's been more about the small ball. And for Oral Roberts, they're a team that's got a little bit more pop in the bat, and they've taken advantage of that.
First walk of the day for Andrew Baum. He puts 2 men on for Nick Rourke. Rourke flew out to left last time, so here with 2 outs in the top of the third, Andrew Baum has to work around the meat of this Oral Roberts lineup.
And this is a good test for a young pitcher as Baum's going to step off, get the call from Powers at second. But this is a good spot for Andrew Baum. Chance to show the coaching staff how he handles adversity. He only needs 1 out.
Out of play. 0-1 to Rourke. Nick Rourke, the senior, out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Batting .317 on the year. Has 3 triples this season. Leads the team.
Takes a curveball there across the shoelaces to make it 1-1. This is easily the best hitting lineup that Baum has pitched against for an extended period of time this year. He did pitch against that Minnesota lineup that has been potent to pitchers all season long.
Yeah, there hasn't really been a team that the Golden Gophers have faced that hasn't been able to make.
Glove save from Andrew Baum as he keeps Oral Roberts off the board in the top of the third. Nice snag on the mound from the righty. Still 2-0 Purdue on top when we come back for the home half of the third inning here on BTN. Two 2-0 Purdue here in the bottom of the third inning. Harry Shipley to lead things off for the Boilermakers against Taylor Varnell and Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts, a very good team coming into today, a team that is expected to make the NCAA tournament. Purdue trying to climb into that field of 64. They still have a ways to go, though. They would most likely need a win here tonight against the Golden Eagles, and then you'd expect they would have to take possibly 2 of 3 from Michigan this upcoming weekend and then perform well in the NCAA tournament. A bunt right in front of Brody Gibson is handled with ease, 1 away.
A nice attempt at a change of pace play by Harry Shipley, but Brody Gibson able to get on top of it to get the out. And when it comes to the Big Ten, or to the NCAA tournament, it's just an uphill battle for the Big Ten in general, and a lot of teams north of Nashville They just, in the eyes of the selection committee, it's tough to play the strength of schedule that keeps you competitive with conferences like the ACC, the SEC, and the Pac-12. I think only 4 or 5 Big Ten teams are even projected to make the field right now.
Or even in the mix, really. You have Minnesota that's playing extremely good baseball right now. They're 16-4 in the Big Ten, and then Michigan is another one of those fringe teams. They struggled against Illinois this past weekend, almost got swept, like you said earlier. And then Indiana, a team that's expected to make it as well. And you have the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are another one of those maybe last 4 in, last 4 out teams, along with Purdue, who's trying to make a late dash and have done well here playing down the stretch. They had that nation 13-game win streak. It was broken up this past weekend by Ohio State. But there is still hope here in West Lafayette for an NCAA tournament bid. D'Alessandro back out to right field. McCutcheon tracking it towards the wall and makes the catch. 2 outs. But that NCAA tournament bid would be the first for Purdue since 2012.
Yeah, the last time that, or a 45-win team and actually won the Big Ten. Guys like Kevin Pilecki, Cameron Perkins in that roster. A couple guys still in the majors right now for the Boilermakers.
Pilecki with the Mets.
Perkins, I believe, with the Padres, and then Nick Whitgren, who was a pitcher in that as well with the Marlins, as this one hit into the gap by Skylar Hunter, but a nice play made out in the left to end the inning. So the Boilermakers not able to add to their 2-run lead. We head to the top of the 4th coming up next.
Two 0 Purdue here in the top of the 4th inning with Oral Roberts' best hitter coming to the plate, Spencer Henson. Roped one into left field last time he saw Andrew Baum, and Baum will try again. Andrew Baum for Purdue so far has allowed 2 hits, with no damage on the scoreboard. Starts off Henson inside out 0-1.
Yeah, once again, we see Baum attacking the at-bat with that off-speed.
Another base knock for Spencer Henson as he pokes that one into left field again. This time a grounder through Harry Shipley and Evan Warden. So a multi-hit game already for Henson. There's a man on for Andrew Pace.
Take a second look at it. Good effort from Shipley, just not able to bring it in.
1-0 to Pace. Good thing about having Henson as a lead runner if you're Andrew Baum is Henson's not exactly a threat to steal. 1 for 2 in stolen base attempts on the year, and with Nick D'Alessandro behind the plate, you would doubt that the Golden Eagles would send him. A trickler through the right side. Henson hustling to third base. It'll be runners on the corners. Base knock for Andrew Pace. And there's 2 men on, 1 in scoring position for Riley Kaiser and Oral Roberts.
So a couple base hits for Oral Roberts, getting things going with runners on the corners now. An important note, though, for Spencer Henson off that last at-bat. That is his 13th multi-hit game of the season. It's his 13th two-hit game of the season. It's his 19th multi-hit game of the year. So an impressive season for Henson.
Kaiser up now, the DH. Fly ball down the line and right and out of play as Olin tracks it over to the wall. 0-1. Baum struck out Kaiser last time. The Oral Roberts DH was at the plate, and that started off a chain of 3 consecutive Ks for Andrew Baum.
As he's going to step off. Pace not a guy who's a threat to steal either. No stolen base attempts on the year.
Deep blast to left, but foul. A loud strike, too, off the bat of Kaiser. That was a statement swing.
Oral Roberts starting to get on that movement, that slider from Baum.
Second time through the lineup. Always interesting to see how these hitters adjust. Baum still ahead in the count, though, 0-2. Flyer into center. Hunter. Henson tagging from third. He'll head to the plate. No throw from the cutoff man, Tyler Powers, and Oral Roberts on the board. Kaiser knocks in Spencer Henson. So an RBI sac fly to bring up Trevor McCutcheon.
And Baum did a really nice job first time through the lineup making quick work of the bottom third of Oral Roberts' order.
Foul ball looked like it was hammered back off the mask of Nick D'Alessandro. And now Craig McCarty will give Deli a minute to catch his breath, maybe.
I'm sure that's not one of D'Alessandro's favorite parts of being behind the plate.
Well, talking to Coach Wazikowski and the rest of this Purdue coaching staff, they acknowledge that D'Alessandro had to get used to the grittier parts of playing that catcher position. 2 outs now. McCutcheon grounded out to McGowan. There's Gibson at the plate.
Well, anybody who's followed Purdue baseball over the course of D'Alessandro's career knows that he's a guy that he has a huge arm, and that allows him to be a great catcher that he can throw out base runners. And we've seen him do that a couple times this season, but like you said, there's a mentality that comes with being a catcher that he's had to adjust and adopt. And to his credit, he's done a nice job this year of really embracing that role.
Oh, and that blocking balls and keeping everything in front. That's part of the grittiness of being a catcher at this level. And
it's not fun. It's
right.
Nobody wants to have to dig down into the dirt and take a fastball off the chest, but that's a part of.
Well, and he admitted that, and the coaching staff realized that was something that he had to get better at, and he's done an excellent job this season and has become one of the more dangerous men behind the plate in the Big Ten. Nice 1-1 breaking ball there from Andrew Baum. He's now ahead to Brody Gibson.
Baum doing a nice job of working through his routine and hitting his spots early on.
Strikes out Gibson. Oral Roberts gets one back in the top of the fourth. Still 2-1. Boilers maintain the lead when we come back for the bottom of the fourth here on BTN. Oral Roberts got one back in the top of the fourth. It's 2-1 here at Alexander Field on the Big Ten Network. Mike Fulton, Connor Hoke here alongside you. Taylor Varnell still on the mound for the Golden Eagles. Only allowed 3 hits so far, but Purdue was able to clump them together to put up 2 back in the second. McGowan with a deep fly ball back to right field. McCutcheon at the wall. See you later. McGowan opens up the fourth and tacks on another run for Purdue.
That's why teams pitch around him. That's his 12th home run on the season. That one, there was no doubt. Off the bat, looked like it was going to go out, and that's how you start off the inning.
McGowan, known so well for his power to his pull side out to left, that time went opposite field and put it in the Oral Roberts bullpen. It's been a while since we've seen a McGowan home run here at Alexander.
Yeah, we had talked about his struggles at the plate recently, a large part of just teams pitching around him, and finally gets a chance to unleash one and able to add on one more run and put this lead back at 2.
Ben Nissel up now to follow up the act. As a 1-1 count. Just before that swing, I was about to get on Jackson McGowan. He's been struggling a bit as of late. He was hitless in his last 3 games, hitless in that Ohio State series.
Well, hitless no more in today's game.
He's got back into the swing of things.
It's the funny thing about baseball, isn't it? One swing can change everything.
One-two to Nissel. Varnell just misses inside. Interest in the contrast of styles between Taylor Varnell and Andrew Baum, the 2 starters here today. Andrew Baum maybe tries to overpower hitters more with that fastball and then work the off speed later in the count. Varnell still has good velocity up there, but tries to be a bit craftier, maybe work around the hitters.
Well, I think that's a a difference in maybe maturity. Varnell is senior, a guy who's been through these battles and has spent a lot of time in collegiate baseball. Baum's still kind of the fresh-faced freshman who, even though he's a redshirt and he's getting a couple midweek starts, he's only making his third start on the year. It only pitched 19 and a third innings coming into today's game. He doesn't have a ton of experience. Still learning, what's the best way to attack.
Varnell has to battle here. Ben Nissel with another good at-bat, fouling off some pitches and working a second 3-2 count. Linesman right at Henson for out number 1.
Still a great at-bat, though, for the freshman in Nissel. Force Varnell to really work, use up some pitches. Although it's not the result that you want, you still are able to make good contact on a good swing.
Still hit a ball hard, too. Everett's up now. He doubled off the wall in left center last time he saw Varnell. Little anxious on that one. Behind the off speed, now 0-1.
Yeah, I think Varnell learned his lesson, not going heat right away at Everett's.
Back-to-back breakers from Taylor Varnell.
Be interesting to see how both teams, how long they allow their starters to go.
Ground ball to Smith. 2 outs.
Especially for a team like Purdue, who you've got a 3-game series against Michigan on Thursday. Do you try to eke an extra inning out of Baum and hope that you can limit the use of the bullpen? And even for Oral Roberts, if you've got a weekend series coming up, you'd like to try and preserve as much of your bullpen as possible.
Alec Oland up now. He flew out to center his last time up. Starts out 1-0. This Michigan series coming up for Purdue, probably the biggest series of the season so far.
Well, I think it's absolutely the biggest series of the season for Purdue. I think that the Boilermakers would have loved to have taken 2 in Columbus. Weren't able to do so, and so now they really need to take 2 from Michigan and have it on their resume that they're capable of beating those upper echelon teams you're going to see in the tournament. But also, I think today's game is a big one for the Boilermakers as well, because if you're able to add an Oral Roberts win, while it may not be the difference between getting in and not getting in, it still shows that you're able to, hang with the team that's going to be in the tournament, going to be the automatic bid from the Summit League.
Through the left side of the infield, base knock for Alec Oland. Man on first here with 2 outs. As Oland continues to hit well. It's his first base knock of the day. Evan Warden up now. He drove in the first 2 runs of the day with a shot to right. And looking ahead for Purdue and looking ahead to potentially an NCAA tournament berth, does a loss to Oral Roberts here hurt you as bad or more than a win does here at Alexander?
Yeah, probably, especially for Purdue when you're a borderline team. You can't afford to, even when it's a excellent mid-major program in Oral Roberts, you still can't afford to drop one. The margin of error is so slim for the Boilermakers as far as trying to get into that NCAA tournament. And Purdue's going to have to make a run in Big Ten, in the Big Ten tournament as well. I mean, when they go to Omaha next week, they're going to have to win 2-3 games, try to get as close to that championship game as possible, trying to just bolster their case to the committee to show that they belong in that field of 64.
That Big Ten tournament, a field of 8 teams, double elimination. Oland taking off for second, no throw from Gibson.
Yeah, I think Gibson knew that there was just no way he could get the ball there in time, and instead of trying to force the issue and maybe sail the ball over the head of his second baseman, he just decided to eat it instead.
So a man in scoring position for Evan Warden, who's been clutch once already today. Line drive foul. Purdue currently sitting at third in the Big Ten, behind Michigan and Minnesota. Gophers in that one spot, 16-4. Michigan at 15-5, and Purdue at 14-6. Behind them, it's the Buckeyes of Ohio State at 13-8. Two-one to Warden.
And Purdue with a chance, should things break the right way, to maybe end up with a tie for first, but really just trying to hold that second seed and give yourself a good seeding heading into the Big Ten tournament.
2-2 misses high. If the Big Ten tournament were played right now, Purdue would be matched up with Indiana in that 3-6 matchup.
Which is
not favorable for the Boilermakers.
No, not at all. Indiana's a tough 6.
It would be easier to go down a spot, you would think, and play the 5-seeded Fighting Illini.
Although
their Warden gets walked.
You say that. The Illini did just take 2.
That is by no means a bad team.
Yeah, 2 away from
But maybe
Michigan.
Holistically, IU is a bit more talented. But you have some serious star power over there in Champaign. Bren Spillane, Doran Turchin.
Those are guys,
excellent players for
yes,
Illinois.
Yeah, those guys are guys that, if you're listening, you need to keep an eye on. Remember those names, because those are guys that are going to continue to make noise, whether it be at Illinois or into the majors. And Illinois is a team that's got a ton of power, similar to this Oral Roberts team. So for Purdue, I think ideally you'd like to take 2 from Michigan and leapfrog them into that second spot, be matched up with the 7 seed.
Well, I mentioned Spillane for Illinois on the year, hitting .417, 20 home runs, 55 RBIs. So you've got some cats who can play over there.
And that's a team kind of similar to Purdue that if they get hot, they can go on a run in Omaha in that Big Ten tournament as well as anybody.
There are a couple teams like that, really, from as you look throughout the Big Ten, teams that maybe don't have some great wins out of conference, but teams that have been very competitive within the Big Ten. As you look at Ohio State, a team that's been problematic for some of the top contenders in the conference.
And I think in regards to Purdue, as that's going to be a strike 2 to make it an 0-2 count with 2 away, it's going to come down to the bullpen. It's going to come down to pitching for the Boilermakers. You know that with Coach Wazakowski, they're going to be aggressive in their base running. They're not going to hit with a ton of power, but the offense is going to generate enough runs to keep Purdue competitive. And you look at that Game 3 against Ohio State, the bottom just fell out for Purdue, and Ohio State got hot and really put it on them. But if they're able to keep the pitching going, that'll be a good chance.
Drop third strike. Gibson to first for out number 3. Purdue takes another run off the bat of Jackson McGowan, who took Varnell deep to right field. It's 3-1 when we come back for the top of 5 here on BTN. 3-1 Purdue as we enter the top of the 5th inning here at Alexandria Field. Harrison Smith to the plate for the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles. Oral Roberts visiting West Lafayette out of the Summit League, where they have been reigning champions for 18 years now, in the regular season at least. Another successful year in that conference. Andrew Baum still on the mound for Purdue.
And when you talk about the Summit League, Oral Roberts really in a favorable position when it comes to baseball, just geographically. You think about North Dakota State's in that league as well. I believe South Dakota State is as well. And Fort Wayne, who we saw last week, all of those teams have to deal with weather in a way that Oral Roberts doesn't have to in Oklahoma. And you're kind of in the hotbed as well of college baseball recruiting.
Right. 4-pitch free pass to Harrison Smith. Not the way Andrew Baum wanted to start out the 5th inning.
Bo Hoster warming up in the bullpen for the Boilermakers.
Nick Rotola to the dish for the Golden Eagles. He singled his last time up. He's hit 2 balls hard to the left side. One Shipley was able to get in front of at short. One found its way to Ben Nissel. Baum has been able to go 5 innings in each of his 2 previous starts. But this Oral Roberts team is a much different animal than the teams that Baum pitched against before in Chicago State and Fort Wayne.
Yeah, those are 2 programs that are really struggling, and we've talked about it. Oral Roberts, most certainly not that. This is a tournament team, so it's a good test for a young pitcher who at some point is going to see those good teams in his career. I think Purdue expects him to be a weekend rotation guy eventually.
The 0-2 from Baum. Liner into right. Base knock. Smith will stay at second. 2 men on for Cal Hernandez. Some more danger for Andrew Baum. He did have 2 men on earlier through the middle of the lineup and only gave up 1 run. And coming off of a Riley Kaiser sac fly to center field.
I would guess that Baum on a little bit of a shorter leash in a midweek game than he's accustomed to, with Purdue's NCAA hopes really hanging in the balance. Coaching staff will feel like they want to go to the bullpen, try and maintain this lead.
So now Baum picking over, maybe giving Hofstra in the bullpen a little more time to warm up.
Dalton Parker down there doing some calisthenics as well, getting warmed up.
2 righties in the pen, but typically we see Hofstra come out, at least in these midweek games. A bunt from Hernandez, a good one. D'Alessandro picks it up, able to make the out at first. Athletic play from the Purdue netminder, Nick D'Alessandro, as he hopped out of his crouch, almost had to make it all the way out to the pitcher's mound.
Yeah, and great job on the cover defensively by Powers, able to get to the bag. But there's the throw. Tough one to make, though. D'Alessandro, with that big arm, able to do so.
Powers had to go down to get that a little bit as well. Good bunt defense from Purdue, but it was a strong bunt from Hernandez at the plate. It puts runners on second and third here with only 1 out.
And now we're going to have a mound meeting. Coach Holmes is going to come out to talk with Baum and the infield.
Coach Steve Holm playing against his alma mater here today in Oral Roberts. His home pitching coach for Purdue. Back at Oral Roberts, he was a second-team All-American. As Baum will exit the game, making it through 4 1/3. Only giving up 1 run off of 5 hits. Coach Holm named a mid-conference player of the year back in the year 2000 with the Golden Eagles. Had 104 hits that year, hit .437 playing shortstop. Later, when he made it to the major leagues, he would eventually transition to catcher. Played for the San Francisco Giants and then the Minnesota Twins. Here he is now as the pitching coach as the Boilers, making the change to Big Bo Hofstra. We'll take a quick break as Hofstra warms up here on BTN in the top of the 5th. Bo Hofstra into the game for Purdue. Here in the top of the 5th inning, he inherits a sticky situation with one of Oral Roberts' best hitters at the plate, Nick Rourke. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, and only 1 out.
Big Bo Hofstra's got a 3.43 ERA on the year. He's been a guy who's primarily worked out of the bullpen, only 1 start. This is his 23rd appearance. He's got 36 strikeouts in 42 innings pitched. He's a freshman from Schererville.
Just misses on that breaking ball to Rourke. It's 2-0. Rourke grounded out to Andrew Baum. His last time up, Baum gave Purdue a solid start here, only giving up 1 run. But Coach Wazikowski sensed that the Golden Eagles were starting to catch on to the starter.
Yeah, you and I saw that as well. It really felt like Oral Roberts had figured out Baum, but he still gave Purdue a strong outing. And so now Hofstra able to come in and see if he can't pick up where Baum left off.
It's a hitter's count now to Nick Rourke. Not the way that Hofstra wanted to start things out. Hofstra excellent at pitching to bad contact. With 3-1, hit back into deep center. This will likely score a run from 3rd as both runners tag. The throw to 3rd from Skylar Hunter, not in time.
Superman dive
From Rottola to
Rottola.
3rd base, that's right. Rotola comes in to third. Harrison Smith to the plate, so it's 3-2. Oral Roberts has 2 runs today off of 2 sac flies. An RBI for Nick Rourke.
Spencer Henson already with 2 hits today. Looking to try to add a third and bring in that tying run.
Some pretty good clutch hitting from Oral Roberts, as that one doesn't count as a hit in the scorebook, but good solid contacts from the Golden Eagles when they've needed to knock runners in.
Yeah, it's all about execution, and good teams execute when called upon, and Oral Roberts has been able to do that a couple times where they've just put long fly balls into the outfield and allowed base runners to move.
0-1 to Henson. 2 for 2 on the day. Bad miss there from Hofstra.
Looked like maybe they were trying to get Henson to chase, and it just a little late out of the hand. Rotola stands on third.
Fouled back and out of play. That was one of those dangerous pitches up in the zone that if Henson gets a hold of might still be going. Instead, it's 1-2. Another foul ball. Good work from Spencer Henson to fight off that pitch from Hofstra.
Hofstra's doing a good job of making Henson battle.
Swung on and missed by Henson. Big strikeout there for Big Bo, as 1 run comes in the 5th for Oral Roberts, but nothing more as the Purdue bullpen limits the damage. Purdue still on top, 3-2. When we come back in a bit. Harry Shipley to lead off the bottom of the 5th for Purdue. Oral Roberts got a run back in the top of the inning thanks to a sac fly off the bat of Nick Rourke. A couple of sac flies here from the Golden Eagles. It's Taylor Varnell still on the mound here in the 5th. Varnell has looked pretty strong. He gave up 2 in the 2nd after he hit Harry Shipley. And then the Boilers were able to piece together a couple hits.
Yeah, Purdue's offense has done a nice job situationally, coming up with a couple clutch hits to bring some runs in. Some action in the bullpen for Oral Roberts as well.
Two-two to Shipley.
It does look like it's Varnell's having to use more and more energy to get that velocity on that fastball.
chop foul as Shipley stays alive. Shipley bunted one his last time up, trying to bunt for a base hit. Wasn't a great bunt. Put it right in the dirt in front of Brody Gibson, who was able to make the play. There's that big looper from Varnell we've seen from time to time throughout the evening. It's a full count to Shipley, and Varnell has seen probably more full counts than he'd like. Walks Shipley there. Close miss on the inside edge, but a good eye from the senior shortstop Harry Shipley for the Boilers.
Yeah, Shipley doing a nice job of just finding ways to get on base in today's game. Already he's been hit by one pitch and drawing the walk there.
So now Nick D'Alessandro, who flew out hard to right field his last time up. He's hit 2 balls hard. One ended up grounding Purdue into a double play. And one was caught by Trevor McCutcheon out and right.
Yeah, right at the warning track, too.
Deli loves to go to opposite field. The double play ball one-hopped Nick Rourke at second. Most of his doubles this year have come in that right center alley.
Varnell's going to throw one over to first.
It's really the first lefty move we've seen from Varnell here today.
Well, and Shipley's a guy who's got a lot of speed over there, too. 12 stolen bases on the year. Big swing from D'Alessandro.
Yeah, it looked like on that swing, D'Alessandro might have been trying to yank that to his pull side.
Looked like he was trying to hit it into the stratosphere.
Instead, it's 1-1. Varnell overthrows Henson. Shipley to second. A miscue from Varnell puts a man in scoring position for Purdue.
And that's why Purdue takes the leadoffs that they do, and they try to play the games on the bases like they have over the last month of the season, because they're trying to force their opponents into mistakes, and oftentimes they're able to get a base like that. As Varnell just simply sails that over the head of his first baseman, and now Shipley's in scoring position.
Nobody out. Shipley on second. And now 2-1 to one of Purdue's better hitters. D'Alessandro's had a hit in 12 of his last 13 games. Grounder up the middle. Smith has it and makes the out at first. Shipley on to third base.
So Shipley's still not able to get on board, but is able to do the job of moving Shipley over to third. So now Skylar Hunter will have a chance to add an RBI to his stat line.
Hunter has put 2 in the outfield. None of them have fallen. Ground ball could do a job here in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. 0-1. Hunter hasn't reached today. He's reached safely in 16 consecutive games. Entering today, and he's had a hit in 10 of his last 11. Almost gets hit there, has to turn away from ball 1. How about the consistency of Skylar Hunter? You see a lot of streaky hitters, but Hunter has been there making solid contact in this Purdue lineup throughout the entire season.
Yeah, he's a blue-collar, lunch pail kind of player. Just nothing super flashy, but just going to come in and be confident at the plate, be smart, Isn't going to be a guy that's going to hit a ton of home runs, but he's also not going to make a lot of poor decisions at the plate either.
He's maybe one of the more undersold 3-hitters in the conference and plays center field extremely well. Doesn't have a lot of pop in that righty box, but boy, he hits the ball hard and a lot of line drives. There you see Varnell step off thanks to Harry Shipley dancing down the third base line, playing a bit of peekaboo with Varnell, who's got his back turned to him.
Well, of course, ever since Purdue stole home with Ben Nissel against Rutgers a couple series back, I think a lot of teams on the scouting report, pitchers, especially lefties, are a little more mindful of what's going on at third when they're playing the Purdue Boilermakers.
3-2, chopper to the first base side. It'll score a run. Henson couldn't get there in time, didn't have a chance on a play at the plate. So Shipley scores, and it's an RBI for Skylar Hunter. 4-2, Purdue.
Nice job by Skylar Hunter. Like we said, nothing flashy, but just a nice team play.
That's getting the job done right there.
Able to bring the run in.
And now it's the Purdue slugger, Jackson McGowan.
He's already got one home run today. His last at-bat put it into the Oral Roberts bullpen on the right side. I'm sure Varnell remembers that one all too fondly.
Yeah, no surprise here. He starts McGowan out with a curveball. Before that home run, we mentioned McGowan was hitless in his last 3 games, but he was only 3 for his last 31. It's a nice little way to maybe try to break out of a slump.
And if you're Purdue, at the right time as well.
And consider this, McGowan has been the team's RBI leader for the entire season with 48 currently. He didn't have an RBI in any of the last 4 games, and he's still 4th in the Big Ten. He was tied for 3rd in the conference with 11 home runs.
He's been a premier bat and a premier player in this league all year. I think, as he is going to draw the walk, McGowan's a guy who has really, really benefited from the tutelage of this coaching staff since the regime changed. Now, Coach Wazakowski in his 2nd year. McGowan came in as a freshman as a guy who was spending some time at third. He had an okay bat. He hadn't really even shown the promise of having the power that he has now as a junior. It's really been fun to watch his development over the last 3 seasons.
As we have a mound visit from one of the assistants for Oral Roberts, with Ben Nissel coming up.
It looks like there might be Wes Davis out there, the pitching coach for Oral Roberts. We talked about quite a bit of activity in the bullpen for the Golden Eagles. As you can see, the Boilermakers waiting to see what's going to happen.
So out comes Taylor Varnell. Couldn't quite make it through the bottom of the 5th inning. His day is done as he allows 4 runs off of 5 hits. Did have that error as well on the throw over to first base, trying to catch Shipley, who would eventually come in to score here this very inning. We'll take a break as a pitching change is made here at Alexander on the Big Ten Network. Brady Womack's in to pitch for Oral Roberts. Womack's one of the premier relievers, not just for the Golden Eagles, but in the Summit League. As he faces Ben Nissel, first Womack's a redshirt senior out of Pevely, Missouri. Played some ball at Jefferson Junior College as well. 6'3", 230-pound right-hander.
Womack's got a 2.10 ERA on the year. In 25 and 2/3 innings of work, he's only given up 26 hits, 6 earned runs, but has 35 strikeouts. So, like you said, the premier reliever out of the bullpen for the Golden Eagles, getting a chance in this midweek game to try and slow down Purdue.
(2-1) to Ben Nissel. This is a very good bullpen for Oral Roberts, and one of the big reasons alongside their powerful offense that they've been so successful in the Summit League and also in non-conference. Now, the Golden Eagles do have some quality wins under their belt outside of the Summit League.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a nice win over Wichita State from earlier in the year. And to go along with that, a couple nice wins over Nebraska as well, and over Dallas Baptist.
Dallas Baptist projected to be a tournament team in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Dallas Baptist was ranked at the time of that game, or that series, against Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts also swept Utah early in the season and had a win against a very good Oklahoma State team as well. McGowan taking off on the dirt ball, and he is pegged out at second base. Thought he had a read at a ball in the dirt, but Brody Gibson hoses him at the bag. Out number 3 as McGowan was caught at second. Purdue steals a run. It's 4-2 when we come back for the top of the 6th here on BTN. Matt Moore to take over on the hill for Purdue here in the top of the 6th inning against Oral Roberts. Andrew Pace to the plate, and a rocky start for Matt Moore. It was a bad miss. Not even close to D'Alessandro.
Yeah, Matt Moore, a young guy, 6'3" lefty, redshirt freshman from Avon, Indiana. He's got a 3.86 ERA on the year. Another Ball that's inside this time.
So 2-0 to start things off. Pace hasn't had anything to consider up there at the plate in this at-bat. 3-0. Moore did have a chance to pitch against Ohio State this past weekend. He closed out Game 2 by retiring 9 of the last 10 batters to earn his first career save. But he walks Andrew Pace to start out the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, Ross Lerner, typically the closer for Purdue, but in those types of games, anytime you can get a little bit more, especially from a young guy like Matt Moore, that's always good for building your program.
Riley Kaiser to the plate now. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout, but that flyout won't count against him in the batting average statistic, as it did bring in a run, a sac fly. One. Matt Moore, a redshirt freshman, has a story much like the starter for Purdue, Andrew Baum, also a redshirt freshman. Matt Moore tore his UCL as a senior, needed surgery, similar to Andrew Baum. Both Moore and Baum still played despite the torn ligament. They just hit and couldn't pitch.
Tough year up there on the north side of Indy.
That's right. Well, and also to mention, Matt Moore and Andrew Baum would have played in the same conference. Matt Moore and Avon, and Andrew Baum playing at Hamilton Southeastern. So the two would have seen each other. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Riley Kaiser. Kaiser barely stays alive, tips that one back.
Kaiser doing a nice job of just battling, forcing Moore to keep throwing more pitches.
It's been a well-played game so far by both teams. We've seen good pitching, but we've seen very good at-bats as well from both Purdue and Oral Roberts.
Well, it's just been a well-played game. These are two quality programs that are both playing really well right now.
Quality pitch there from Matt Moore. His first strikeout of the game. He fans Riley Kaiser. There's one away.
Yeah, Kaiser not very happy about that. Slammed the end of his bat into the dirt in the batter's box.
Well, he knew he'd chase that one up out of the zone. Now it's Trevor McCutcheon.
As you can see it here, frustration, knew better. Matt Moore able to get him to chase.
McCutcheon 0 for 2. Strikeout and a ground out. This one, a shot into right center. Could be extra bases. Pace rounding third. Coming in to score. Powers cuts it off. It's a stand-up double for Trevor McCutcheon. Oral Roberts cuts the deficit to just 1 here in the 6th.
The 7th double for McCutcheon on the year. And only the 18th hit for McCutcheon this season. So when McCutcheon is able to get the ball on, or bat on ball, he's usually driving it out there with power like he just did.
So Matt Moore's walk to start out the 6th comes in to score. Brings up Brody Gibson. He's had no luck so far, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. And now pitching coach Steve Holm will head out to have a chat with Matt Moore. Golden Eagles have now scored 1 run in each of the last 3 innings, including this one. 1 in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Matt Moore relieved of his duties.
It looks like Dalton Parker's going to get a chance to come in and work through the remainder of the inning. And we're going to step away while Parker gets warmed up. The Boilermakers on top 4-3, but Oral Roberts making a run.
The Purdue outfield staying loose with some rock, paper, scissors as Dalton Parker gets warmed up here in the top of the 6th inning. It's all fun and games here at Alexander. Ben Nissel and Alec Olin duking it out. This has been an intense series between the 3 outfielders. Can't tell who has the upper hand. We've seen a lot of Skylar Hunter. He seems to be top dog.
Yeah, but Alec Olin doing a nice job of making a run there at the end, as they'll now all head out to their respective positions in the outfield.
Yeah, Ben Nissel, the freshman, he's got a lot to learn. He seemed to be out of the running pretty quick. But Dalton Parker to take the mound after Matt Moore struggled a bit through the 6th. Gave up a run after a walk and a double from Trevor McCutcheon. Brody Gibson up now. Parker into the game. A sophomore out of St. Joseph, Illinois.
First pitch high and inside.
Parker, a 3-0 record on the year. Has seen 17 1/3 innings of work. 1-1 to Gibson.
Yeah, Parker, another one of these pitchers in the bullpen for the Boilermakers that trying to help them propel forward into the postseason. Dalton Parker, only a sophomore from St. Joseph, Illinois. A lot of young arms in the bullpen for Purdue.
Last year as a freshman, Parker set a freshman record for Purdue with 6 saves. Doesn't have any this year.
Well, when you've got the guy who was on screen there standing in the dugout in Ross Lerner, he's got 11 saves on the year.
The 1-2 is flown towards Olin across the wall. He makes the grab. Alec Olin snags it. 2 outs. How about that? Olin reaches over the bricks to haul it in.
A BTN standout play from the senior right fielder.
He snow-coned it just north of the tarp. It does move the runner up to third base. So McCutcheon up to third and Smith at the plate. Oland with some excellent extension and awareness. Above first base for McGowan, who drops the ball. In fair territory, a run comes in to score for the Golden Eagles. This game is tied.
A miscue, an absolute miscue after a phenomenal play and right by Alec Oland. And you can see Nick D'Alessandro.
This infield can't believe it. The entire defense was heading in, and there was just a momentary pause all across the field as it looked like none of the Purdue defenders could understand what just happened. McGowan dropped an easy fly ball to allow a run to come in, and now a ball gets away from D'Alessandro.
And right now, how does this Boilermaker team respond? Because you were getting out of the inning, and now all of a sudden it's a tie ball game with a runner in scoring position. And new life for Oral Roberts.
Well, new life and the top of the lineup. It's Nick Rottola, who already has 2 hits today. A single to left and a single to right. Well, and also Dalton Parker has to rein it back in here, too, as he's created some bad contact. But a run comes in nonetheless. 2-0. So after an incredible catch by Alec Olin down the right field line, McGowan drops one, and an uncharacteristic miss from D'Alessandro behind the plate, letting the ball getting away from him. And now it's 3-0 to Rottola.
Purdue has to reel it in, like you said. Got to dig back down deep and figure out how you're going to get out of this inning without any more damage done. You can see the frustration on Coach Mark Wazakowski's face. Those are plays you just can't have those errors and those infield pop-ups to end the inning.
Everybody was heading in. The outfielders were almost in on the dirt of the infield. Parker coming back in this at-bat. It's 3-2 now.
It's a great response by Parker. Got down 3-0 and has thrown 2 nice pitches to at least get the count to full.
2 outs. And Smith on second base. Strikeout from Dalton Parker. Huge pitch right there from the Purdue reliever after a miscue in the field. Oral Roberts, however, puts up 2 runs to tie the game in the 6th. Purdue to respond at the plate when we come back here on BTN. It was a topsy-turvy inning in the field for Purdue in the top of the 6th moments ago as Alec Olin made an outstanding catch, and now Ben Nissel drives one into left center. A base knock. Rottola couldn't get there. Nissel to second. The throw not in time. Purdue with a man on second.
So Nissel able to respond with the double. And you talked about, though, that top of the 6th, I thought you summarized it perfectly. A roller coaster of emotions. The high being a phenomenal catch over the right field wall by
Well, the wall down the line here.
down the line by Alec Oland, and then a routine pop-up that in 100 attempts, 99 times, that's a catch, and just off the palm of Jackson McGowan and into the dirt.
So that error allowed a run to score. Give credit to Trevor McCutcheon, who was moving on the play. If McCutcheon's not jogging that out to home plate, McGowan maybe has time to pick it up and make a play.
Yeah, that's why coaches preach that you just, even in those situations where it's almost going to be certainly an out, just keep running because you never know what could happen.
Now Nick Everts is down 0-2 after a check swing was called by the field umpire Grady Smith. Ball high from Womack. Oral Roberts with 2 runs in the 6th, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th to tie this game after Purdue jumped out early with 2 in the 2nd and put up singular runs in the 4th and 5th. Chopping ground ball, and Nissel caught in a rundown between 2nd and 3rd. A diving tag as Hernandez gets Ben Nissel. Another error from the Boilers, this time on the base paths.
Yeah, Nissel thought he could beat that out, just not able to do so. Nice play by Hernandez, though. Diving to make the tag. As we're going to take a second look at it.
And Nissel had to hesitate to get out of the way at that ball. Maybe if he doesn't make that jump backwards, he has a better chance at 3rd, but still.
And I think upon the hesitation, obviously hindsight's 20/20, probably should have just retreated back to 2nd. So now Alec Oland will come to the plate.
High fly ball above 2nd. Two outs for Evan Warden.
And Womack has done a nice job of coming in here and disrupting the flow that Purdue's offense had towards the end of Arnold's start.
Warden's been productive so far, a walk and a single. That single brought in 2 runs in the 2nd inning for the Boilers. He takes strike 1. Womack's ahead 0-2.
Yeah, Warden chasing up out of the zone on that one.
And he knows it too. Bit annoyed with himself, but he'll have to dig in and defend here 0-2 against one of the better relievers on this Oral Roberts pitching staff. Looked like strike 3 right there.
Certainly did. I think a lot of people in the crowd thought it would be. But Warden, now the 1-2 count.
Everts takes off, and I believe there's a foul ball. Warden says he got it. So does the home plate umpire, Craig McCarty.
Gibson trying to plead that he caught it.
Now McCarty consulting Grady Smith and Eric Lovelace, the 2 field umpires. If we could see that again, it looked like Warden got a piece of it, and then Gibson didn't catch it off the impact. It looked like it hit the dirt.
I'm going to say that it was foul.
Ooh, I don't know. Boy, that looked like Warden missed it.
Certainly from that angle, didn't look like there was not much discernible contact.
Also, sometimes you can hear that ping. We couldn't hear it up here. Anyhow, it's strike three. Warden is retired. Nice spot from Brady Womack as he worked through the Boilers in the bottom of the sixth inning. Purdue had a chance with a runner in scoring position, but Nissel was tagged out between second and third. Tied at 4 when we come back for the top of 7 here on BTN. Deadlocked at 4 here at Alexander, and last inning in the field for Purdue, Alec Oland gave us this, a beauty down the line over the wall, but then it was followed up by a circus act in the infield as McGowan just drops it. That allowed the tying run to score for Oral Roberts. Now to the plate is Cal Hernandez, the third baseman.
I can guarantee you that win or lose, Jackson McGowan's teammates will not let him forget that he just dropped that ball on the pop fly.
Playable fly out to Skylar Hunter. 1 away. Of course, the winning would make it hurt a little less.
Would make it hurt a little less.
Would make it a joke that you could talk about much sooner. Maybe in the locker room after the game.
That might end up being a gift that ends up being some sort of Monday-related joke for the Purdue baseball team, as it was a beautiful angle from our staff here, our crew.
Nick Rourke to the plate, right at McGowan. Bobbles it to Dalton for out number 2. Dalton Parker with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. But by no means out of the inning with Spencer Henson coming to the right-handed batter's box.
Yeah, Henson's already got 2 today, 2 singles, 2 for 3.
Down 0-1. Henson took a similar strike one to start out his last at-bat, in which he did strike out swinging. Nice spot from Parker. 1-2.
Parker's doing a nice job of hitting his spots.
This ball hammered back out to right. Oland at the track makes the catch, backing up against the wall. Not quite enough from that man, Spencer Henson, but you can see the kind of pop he has even to opposite field. 3 down as Dalton Parker breathes a sigh of relief in the 7th. We're still tied when we come back for the home half of the inning here on the Big Ten Network. Tyler Powers to start out the bottom of the 7th inning against Brady Womack. Powers into left center, up in the air, and after a bit of communication, Rotolo calls off Andrew Pace. Womack's cruising right along here through the middle innings. Didn't allow any runs last frame. Already has one out here in the 7th. Now set to face the top of this Purdue lineup in Harry Shipley. Shipley has gotten on twice. Got clipped in the hip to start out the game. Walked his last time up. Fouls this one off his foot. Looked like a painful strike, too.
Yeah, he's trying to walk it off.
And that's what they teach you, though. If you think you might have fouled it off your foot, or if you think it's close, you got to go down like you're shot right away. And that one looked like it got him right on the laces.
That's going to leave a mark.
Shipley maybe a bit ginger on that lead foot, but he'll have to step in against Womack, who's pitched very well throughout the 6th and 7th. He's going for that same spot.
Yeah, Womack's trying to add on to the bruises that Shipley's already occurred today from the ball striking him. He's already been hit one time.
Well, he's been hit once with a pitch, and he's inflicted a wound upon himself here in this at-bat.
Going to end up in the ice bath after the game.
Another floater out towards left. This time, Pace makes the catch.
So 2 away for Womack. Nick D'Alessandro coming to the plate.
D'Alessandro grounded out to Harrison Smith his last time up. Chopper foul.
Both teams action working in the bullpens as we are still very close here, knotted up at 4. Each team with 6 hits, each team with 1 error. About as deadlocked of a game as you could ask for.
Both of those errors leading to a run later in that inning. The Oral Roberts error committed by the starting pitcher Taylor Varnell, as he overthrew first base. Shipley moved up to second and then would eventually score from third.
And, of course, Jackson McGowan dropping the pop fly at first, allowing a run to score for Oral Roberts.
One-two to Nick D'Alessandro, the catcher. He drives one foul. Purdue probably needing this game more than Oral Roberts does. Oral Roberts is projected to make the NCAA tournament as it is. Purdue trying to get into that field somehow. A win today would help them. A loss today would put a big hole in their chances.
Have to imagine if they drop it today, they would have to pretty much win the Big Ten championship to get into the NCAA tournament. Of course, Oral Roberts most likely will be the team representing the Summit League.
Full count to Nick D'Alessandro. And even if Oral Roberts doesn't win that league tournament, which there's a good chance they will as they've had their way with the Summit League, still a ball club that coming in today has been very competitive. D'Alessandro into right center, his favorite spot. Going to try and make it two. A Deli double with two down here in the bottom of the seventh.
Great job by D'Alessandro, able to, like you said, put that out into his favorite spot. They should just put his face in the outfield out there. Give him something to aim at. We've seen him put it in that right center deep portion of the outfield time and time again this year. So now Skylar Hunter, who is a switch hitter, going to head to the left side, or the right side, excuse me, and see if he can try his luck there.
Take strike one from the right-handed Brady Womack. One to Hunter. D'Alessandro, a very dangerous base runner. He is the best base runner, at least stolen base-wise, on this Purdue team, and one of the best in the Big Ten. He's third in the Big Ten in stolen bases with 21. Hunter into center. Ratola can't make the catch. It falls out of his glove. Hunter to second base. Purdue reclaims the lead here in the seventh.
A tough play for Ratola to make on the dive and grab, just not able to make the catch. And great job by D'Alessandro not to pull up like we talked about with that McGowan drop, just continuing to finish the play. And the Boilermakers on top, 5-4.
So with two outs, a double from D'Alessandro and a base knock from Skylar Hunter make it 5-4. Ratola looked like he was there but couldn't haul it in. Ground might have knocked the ball out. So now it's Jackson McGowan. It's already homered and walked once today. Take strike one.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody who smiles as much at the plate as Jackson McGowan does.
He's smiling right now.
I suppose if I had 12 home runs, I probably would smile a lot too.
Or if you could do that. Hunter being waved home. The throw is there, and a spin move cannot evade the tag of Brody Gibson. Hunter wasn't even close. So McGowan notches a base hit, but Hunter gets hosed at the plate. Purdue does get in a run thanks to a base knock from Skylar Hunter. It's 5-4 here when we come back for the 8th. Top of the 8th here at Alexander Field. Purdue up 5-4 over Oral Roberts. They were trying to make it 6-4, and then Andrew Pace puts one on a one-hop to Brody Gibson. Some nifty moves by Skylar Hunter, but he couldn't quite get past the Oral Roberts goaltender there.
Yeah, it was an outstanding spin move. I know Coach Jeff Brom threw out the first pitch.
I want to give him a look in that backfield.
If nothing else, bring him into the running back room and let him show those running backs how to execute a spin move. As a new man on the mound for the Purdue Boilermakers, Trevor Cheney coming out of the pen to try and set Purdue up.
Cheney has been that 8th inning setup man for the entire year, practically a junior out of Munster, Texas. Played the last couple of years at Paris Junior College, where he threw 70 2/3 innings last year through 16 appearances. Struck out 75. He's worked 31 2/3 here with Purdue this season. 28 strikeouts, 18 walks, and a save. They will face Andrew Pace to start out the top of the 8th inning. 1-0. Hard grounder to McGowan. Bobbled it, but makes the out. McGowan has knocked a couple down over there. One of them was about 100 feet in the air that he knocked down, but on the grounders, he's been pretty good.
That glove has not been kind to Jackson McGowan today, but he's done a nice job of at least getting his body in front of a couple of them, able to get the out.
We should probably give him a break. He has homered and singled today. He's 2 for 3, and aside from that pop-up that allowed a run to score for the Golden Eagles, he's been fairly solid in the field.
Something tells me that if this score holds, that home run won't be enough to save him from the heckling he's going to get from his teammates and probably from the coaching staff as well.
Riley Kaiser up now. He's struck out twice today.
Trevor Cheney really struggled in his last outing against Ohio State. Gave up a couple runs without even putting the ball in play. Hoping to have a better relief effort in today's game.
And that was game 3 against Ohio State, in which Purdue lost 16-6. Shot right at Nissel and left. Kaiser is retired. In that game against Ohio State, that rubber match, Purdue actually led that game 6-1.
And that was something that Coach Wazakowski talked about in his interview on Twitter after the game. Just Ohio State got hot, and it was just one of those deals where didn't really matter what Purdue did. I mean, even Ross Lerner gave up a grand slam in that game. I mean, that's just, when you're hot, you're hot. And like we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, the bottom really fell out on the Boilermakers.
Well, the Buckeyes scored 15 unanswered runs in the last 4 innings. Ohio State obviously was hot at the plate, but the pitching staff also walked 9 batters, and there were 3 errors in the field as well. So a forgettable performance by Purdue in a game that really could have put them in a position to be on the inside looking out of maybe an NCAA tournament bid.
And the beautiful thing about baseball for Trevor Chaney is a couple days later you get the chance to come out and make it all better as he does get the 3rd out. As Oral Roberts goes 1-2-3 against Trevor Chaney. And so that'll do it here from the top of the 8th. Purdue on top 5-4. We head to the home half coming up next.
Purdue retakes the lead, 5-4 an inning ago, and then it was Trevor Chaney on the mound who went 1-2-3 through the Oral Roberts lineup, and now Purdue with a chance to add to their lead here in the home half of the 8th.
New man on the mound for Oral Roberts, Grant Townsend, part of a trio of tremendous relievers.
Milo Beam at the plate now for Purdue.
Would signal that Ben Nissel done for the day.
Nissel had a good day. He was 2 for 3 at the plate with a double, but he did have that base running blunder when he got tagged out in between 2nd and 3rd. And that trio of relievers that you were alluding to, Kyler Stout, Brady Womack, and now Grant Townsend, 128 strikeouts between those 3 this year. That trio averages about 12.5 Ks per 9 innings. They have a 12-1 record and 14 saves, with Kyler Stout, the closer, earning 13 of those.
And when you got that type of bullpen, it doesn't matter what level of Division I baseball you're playing in, whether it's the Summit League or the SEC. You're going to be competitive, and every game.
And that's something that just separates the good teams from the tournament teams, from the ones that can win in the tournament. Who has that back end?
Yeah,
Who has those 2 or 3 guys that can get you through?
And that's why Oral Roberts should be a team that scares those NCAA tournament teams. Is, especially if, right now as it stands, as Milo Beam's going to reach base, gets plunked on the leg. But as it stands right now, 12 of the 14 SEC teams projected to be into the NCAA tournament, and at the bottom half, a couple of those teams, record-wise, maybe if they run up against an Oral Roberts, they're not going to be able to handle the depth in the bullpen that the Golden Eagles can throw at somebody. As we'll now have Evan Kennedy coming to the plate for the first time tonight.
That's good for Purdue to get Beam on base, as Beam has excellent speed on the base pass. He's not the most successful base stealer they have, but he still is quick getting around the bases.
A rangy athlete, 6'3", 6'4", from Westfield, Indiana. Long, lean, imposing player in the outfield for the Boilermakers, able to track down balls with ease, but has yet to turn that length and speed into an effective base runner.
Evan Kennedy to the plate now in the DH spot instead of Nick Everts. Everts finishes 1 for 3 with a double. Kennedy with a hard grounder towards the Oral Roberts dugout.
Yeah, Evan Kennedy, 229 on the season. He's got 22 hits and 11 RBIs. 6 doubles to go along with those 22 hits.
Well, and you feel that Coach Wazikowski for Purdue is comfortable making these changes, knowing that you have this stellar bullpen. Just had Trevor Chaney, and you could see Ross Lerner.
It does. That does look like the slight figure of Ross Lerner warming up down in the bullpen.
Lerner's been outstanding closing out games for Purdue, and like we mentioned, that's that confidence in the back end of that bullpen to close out games. That's one of the reasons why Purdue's a 30-win team. 0-2 to Kennedy, ripped into right, but foul.
And that's a shame for Evan Kennedy, because I think he knows that's a stand-up double with an RBI. Milo Beam was already headed into third before that ball even really hit the ground.
Kennedy's got some pretty good pop in that lefty batter's box.
As you can see in the bullpen, Boilermaker getting ready to warm up. Does look like Ross Lerner, which would make sense. This is a game Purdue needs. So you bring in your best closer.
1-2 to Kennedy. Kennedy is senior, hitting just below 230 this year. 6 doubles. Almost had one a couple pitches ago. Beam taking off for second. Stolen bag for Milo Beam as he reaches safely. Kicked the ball as he slid in. He's now 4 for 7 in stolen base attempts.
Yeah, we're going to get a second look at it. It looked like it might have bounced off his helmet, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But a stolen base for Beam.
So now Grant Townsend has the speedy Milo Beam to worry about on second base. Opponents only hit 192 off of Grant Townsend. Kennedy stays alive.
And it's interesting. Purdue fans will understand this. Townsend's a guy a lot like Ross Lerner. When you just look at him on the mound, you don't necessarily think outstanding pitcher. Only 6 foot, 190 pounds. It doesn't look like one of those guys who's going to come out and just command the mound, but he still is able to do so.
Kennedy with a shot back to right field. McCutcheon at the wall and over. 2 more for Purdue. The senior, Evan Kennedy, making this week one to remember. His last as a Boilermaker as he rounds the bases.
And that is his first home run of the season. No better time for it than to add a couple insurance runs for the Boilermakers in the bottom of the 8th. A second look at it.
7-4 Purdue here in the 8th.
Have to give McCutcheon credit. Made the effort to try and rob it at the wall, but not able to get it. So now Alec Olin will come to the plate with the bases cleared. But it does look like he might see a new pitcher on the mound as we do have a meeting.
We've seen some unusual power from the Purdue lineup here today. We talked about it earlier. This was not a batting order that had hit a lot of home runs this year. They were 4th to last in the Big Ten entering today. They poked 2 out, both to right field, as Townsend takes his seat. As you see the dugout giving Evan Kennedy some love. That's good to see. A senior who's been with the team and had his share of injury troubles as well. In his last week in the regular season, playing here at Alexander Field, and sends one out.
So we're going to step away with the Boilermakers on top. 7-4. We're going to allow Colton Larkins to get warmed up. Still in the bottom of the 8th. Nobody out, nobody on. Purdue on top.
Colton Larkins on the mound for Oral Roberts here in the bottom of the 8th, in which Purdue has jumped on top now by 3. Putting up 2 here in the 8th thanks to an Evan Kennedy home run to right field. Now it's Alec Oland.
Larkins, a 6-foot junior from Lee Summit, Missouri. Was at Crowder College before he came to Oral Roberts. Making his 21st appearance on the year. He's got a 4.15 ERA.
So we thought we might see Kyler Stout, the Oral Roberts leader in saves for a single season, or career rather, with 27. But instead it's Colton Larkins as Purdue extended their lead. 1 out. Evan Warden to the plate now. Single, a walk, and a strikeout for Warden so far.
Evan Kennedy not only getting his first home run of the season, also his first collegiate home run, as Evan Warden's going to ground out on the first pitch from Larkin. So congratulations to Evan Kennedy. On the same day that he got his diploma, gets his first collegiate home run. I think that's not too bad of a Tuesday night, if you ask me.
I've heard of worse.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to shake the hand of the university president, get your diploma, and then in a big spot, put in a 2-run blast.
Well, it'd be that much sweeter for Evan Kennedy if Purdue can hold on to this lead here. It was a big spot, though, as now Purdue opens the lead a little bit, but things were stressful when it was 4-4 and then 5-4 for the Boilermakers. It looked like for a couple pitches there in that 6th inning, after McGowan made the drop and then, a simple pass ball kind of got away from D'Alessandro. It looked like the wheels might be coming off the wagon, but then Dalton Parker settled things down and the bats got rolling again.
Yeah, oftentimes you'll hear people talk about momentum as Tyler Powers will ground out to end the inning, but the Boilermakers have all that momentum on their side as we head to the top of the 9th. Last chance for Oral Roberts to try and climb back in this one.
Ross Lerner to try and close out the game for the Boilermakers here at Alexander Field. Purdue leading 7-4 in the top of the 9th inning. It's now into hit for Oral Roberts. We have a pinch hitter, this being Alex Schmitz, redshirt sophomore from Tulsa. Lerner in relief has been excellent for Purdue this year. 11 saves to his name.
And thanks to a fellow senior in Evan Kennedy, 2 more runs to work with as he takes the mound. 2-run blast, the first of Kennedy's collegiate career.
One to Schmitz. Ross Leonard had his scoreless streak of 24 2/3 consecutive innings without giving up a run. He had that streak snapped in Game 3 against Ohio State, in which he gave up 6 runs. It was part of that 15-run scoring spree by the Buckeyes to end that game.
Yeah, and like we talked about, sometimes just when the opponent's hot, they're hot, and there's not much that anybody's going to do against it. And anybody who is familiar with Big Ten baseball or Purdue baseball knows that Ross Leonard's as good as they come on the mound. And when he's given up long balls, that's when you know that it's just not your day.
Strikeout to start out the 9th. Harrison Smith to try his luck next. Purdue can hang on. This would be a solid win in non-conference play and a bit of a confidence booster after a tough weekend in Columbus as they head into that Michigan series that will be played here in West Lafayette.
Well, and I think when you look back on this game, there are a couple things that are going to be good for Purdue, and I think you start with Jackson McGowan, which of course we've talked about. He had the fielding error, but he was able to get out of the slump. Had a single shot over the right field wall, and maybe that's what propels him into having a huge series against Michigan.
Right. His bat was quiet for a little bit, but it seems to have woken up at least here today in midweek action. But when he's slugging it like he did today, Purdue is a tough team to pitch around.
And when that man's dealing like he is right now, virtually unhittable.
2 strikeouts here in the 9th for Ross Leonard. He now has 31 on the year. Oral Roberts down to their last man rather. It's Nick Rottola. He's 2 for 4 today. Warden at third. Across the diamond, the throw way over the head of McGowan. It'll be an error on Evan Warden. That's the second of the day here for Purdue, and it puts a man on first with 2 outs.
Yeah, it looked like Warden struggled to field it at first, but was able to get a hold of it and just too much on it and sailed it over the head of McGowan.
Cal Hernandez up now. This is not a part of the lineup you want to let hang around here if you're Purdue.
And once again, an error keeping Oral Roberts alive in an inning.
Hernandez, Nick Rourke, and Spencer Henson coming up. Still 2 outs, but those are 3 very capable hitters that have had lots of success this season. It's 1-1 to Hernandez. Oral Roberts has already clinched the regular season title in the Summit League. Purdue, if things could go right, could end up near the top of the Big Ten. They would need some help from Minnesota and would need to win that Michigan series. Hernandez towards the wall. McGowan watches it sail out of play. Looked like a fan took that off the hip.
Well, it looked like the fan was going to try to catch it until the last moment and then tried to get out of the way.
Everybody's all right. It's 1-2 to Hernandez.
Alec Oland is standing in right, shaking his head, saying, well, I went over the wall to make the play. You can't make it from your seat. Hernandez steps out of the box, now re-enters.
1-2 from Leonard. Another one at Warden. Tough hop. Shipley gets it off the bounce. And there's 2 men on for Nick Rourke. So 2 burners to Evan Warden at third, neither of which could he handle.
It's going to be called a base hit, but tough back-to-back at-bats for the third baseman, Evan Warden.
That's why it's called the hot corner.
Tried to get his body on it to stop it, just wasn't able to do so, as now Leonard and D'Alessandro are going to meet on the mound.
So now all of a sudden the Golden Eagles within a swing's reach. Rourke is hitless today, 0 for 4. 2 groundouts and 2 flyouts. Base hit up the middle. 1 run comes in to score. It's 7-5. Still runners on first and second.
And now hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Ross Leonard giving up a couple hits. Oral Roberts doing a nice job of making contact, as Rourke just with a hard hit ball right back up the gut.
So just like that, it's a 2-run ball game, and Coach Steve Holm will head out to try and talk to Ross Leonard.
And Leonard will stay in the game. There is nobody in the bullpen. Just try to settle down their star closer.
Spencer Henson at the plate for Oral Roberts. A scary situation here for Purdue, with the best Golden Eagle at the dish. Purdue had all that momentum like you talked about. Heading in here at the top of the 9th. Leonard looked dominant, struck 2 batters out, and then you had that error by Evan Warden at third base that could have ended it.
And give Oral Roberts credit. You and I have called a lot of Purdue baseball this season. We've seen a lot of teams lay down and die after that second out against Ross Leonard. More often than not, that's, you're looking at ball game, but Oral Roberts has done a great job with 2 outs of just continuing to battle, taking advantage of a throwing error by Evan Warden and a couple base hits.
Well, if you're the Golden Eagles, why not? If you got the top of your lineup up, you're playing with a bit of house money here after the error from Evan Warden. 2 outs, Henson up. Chopper, foul. 0-1. All those balls were fairly hard hit, except maybe the first one that Warden overthrew.
Well, we have talked about Leonard, not a ton of velocity. Not the hardest throwing guy on the staff for Purdue. Definitely relies on his movement and his location to really work against batters. And so if Roberts can find those spots, they're going to have a chance to move these balls.
1-1. Sun setting here at Alexander Field. We thought we might get some showers tonight, but it seems as though the rain has stayed away. Instead, it's turned into a nice evening. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. D'Alessandro sliding to his knees to keep it in front. Hernandez on second base. Rourke behind him on first.
Leonard will step off.
Powers only half-heartedly holding on Hernandez over there at second. Two one from Leonard. Drive into left, a base knock. Hernandez coming in to the plate. Throw will be cut. 1-run ball game. Oral Roberts making it interesting here in the top of the ninth. And doing it all with 2 outs as Henson delivers a big knock. That's his third of the day.
And looks of frustration on the faces of the Boilermakers in the field. Not accustomed to seeing Ross Leonard get hit like this.
Still nobody up in the Purdue bullpen. Lerner's going to have to finish this out himself. Andrew Pace up now. He's 1 for 3 today. Lerner to head 0-1. Earns a big round of applause from the Purdue faithful here at Alexander.
And maybe this is the best case situation for Lerner's, that you're just able to get through the heart of the lineup, giving up a couple runs and still up with 1 run to spare. Now you've got Pace, who has struggled a little bit today.
Pace no slouch though, a .290 hitter, but he's down 0-2 now. D'Alessandro pointing to his head, trying to get Leonard in the zone. The closer for Purdue. Deli able to get to it and keep everybody in their place.
Great block by D'Alessandro.
That was a dirt ball read, one we saw Jackson McGowan take off from first on earlier today, got thrown out. If Rourke would have made the jump to third early enough, he might have gotten there.
Anything in the outfield and in play from Pace is going to give Rourke a chance to score the tying run.
One hopper to Tyler Powers, out number 3. Purdue hangs on 7-6 to top the Golden Eagles here at Alexander Field. Got a little scary there in the top of the ninth, but Ross Leonard able to close it out for the Boilermakers.